Did I ever tell you about the time that I saw my first bear? I don't mean like the first time that I'd seen a bear, maybe at the zoo, or if you come up to the Arctic, you see a polar bear way off in the distance. I'm talking about like an up-close bear. That's a really special moment, and I think we all kind of remember them. And I remember mine really well. I was doing my PhD, and I was working on an island that had a seabird colony. And there were about 20,000 pairs of seabirds that were nesting on this one spot that we were camping at. It was my first day, and I went down to the lowest level blind, about 50 feet off of the surface of the water. And I climbed into the blind and got my notebook and my binoculars, and I was watching the birds really intently, wanting to do a super good job to make sure that I documented everything that was going on. But at some point, my stomach was starting to grumble and I was getting hungry, and I thought that I should take a break, kind of prioritizing my physical health to get the data. And I put down my binoculars and grabbed a bar to start eating. And while I was doing that, I decided to appreciate the scenery, which I hadn't yet had the time to do. And I was looking out over the distance, and it was beautiful. There was ice on the water. And then I, for some reason, decided to look straight down. And as soon as I did that, this polar bear was swimming right along this cliff edge. And it was kind of looking up like this, kind of scanning, but just kind of dog paddling. And that's where I learned that polar bears, when they swim, they really just kind of paddle with their front feet. And they let their back ones go in the background, and they kind of use them as a rudder, but they don't actively kind of push with them. And it was doing that just very kind of quietly, looking out. And I thought, first of all, cool. Second of all, I'm safe up here in my blind and I can just enjoy this. Well, I think he might have heard me because as soon as I was feeling kind of comfortable and smug, he caught a whiff of me and went and looked back at me. And I still wasn't too upset or anything. This was, again, really kind of cool. Except for that all of a sudden, he comes up to just where I am, just below me, looks up at me, and goes, "Whoa." And he starts to climb the cliff. Well, I got out of that blind so fast, I'm sure you can imagine how quickly, just kind of scrambled out of it and like rushing up, scrambling up the cliff, running along the little trail to go and find the camp manager. There's a bear down there. And he stops and he looks at me and he's like, "We know, we've been watching it for a half an hour now." "But, Jacobs, did you forget your data book?" And I was like, "Oh, I did. Oh no." And then I thought, hey, wait a second. Why safety over data? So lots of lessons were learned. First of all, polar bears can climb cliffs. Second of all, don't forget your data book.